Living by Design with host Kathy Holloway Hill. Kathy is a strong, powerful voice. She entertains, informs, and inspires her audiences everywhere she goes.
Hi, I'm Kathy Holloway Hill, and welcome to another empowering episode of the Living by Design show. I have a powerhouse guest with me today. If you're looking for love, or if you want to enhance your love life, then we have the perfect guest. Miss Allana Pratt is with us, and she is a global phenomenon. This young lady has appeared on so many massive platforms that I don't even think I can name them all. Forbes and People Magazine and Huffington Post and ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox. And has authored 6 books, and she's an Ivy League grad, and her bio is so extensive that, as you can see, I'm very excited because I'm not going to be able to get all her bio in because she is a global phenomenon. And I am so grateful that she has taken the time to talk to my viewers today and spend time here on Living by Design. Allana, welcome to the show.
Oh, Kathy, you are so kind and generous. I just want to take you with me all the time. And it's really important for me to let everyone know that even though I might have been on a lot of different platforms and I've been out there, yes, I'm very credible. And I'm also like everyone else. I have a heart that's been stomped on. I've had to learn how to heal my little you. I've had to learn how to open my heart in the face of the fear of getting hurt again. And what I want to share today is that it's possible and that everything we've gone through is for us, not against us. And I'm really, really honored to be here. So thank you, Kathy.
Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? I'm not surprised. That just rounds you out because you are so well-rounded, not only with your experience and your education and your knowledge, and now, the things that you're willing to open up and share about your own self. It's just incredible. So I have so much stuff I want to dive into because this actually is the number one topic that I receive so many email questions about. So I want to first begin with the topic of dating.
Yes.
Because we have more mature individuals. I'm just going to refer to them that way.
Sure.
Don't want to insult anyone by calling them seniors. But mature individuals who are back into the dating world.
Yes.
And so I want you to talk a little bit about expectations that mature individuals should have, some being unrealistic, kind of focusing on that physical thing versus focusing on something a little deeper and more meaningful.
Yeah.
So just talk a little bit about that.
Beautiful. Well, I love that we're talking to a more mature audience. I'll be 52 in a month. And I'm single. And I actually just broke up with my boyfriend a week and a half ago. So I'm coming to you today with an authentic, wobbly heart, as well as my mastery and my wisdom and my expertise as well. So I think basically when we get, over 40, we start to have these doubts. Will I ever find love? Am I actually going to die alone? Who's going to like me with the extra muffin top here or what have you? We have all of these authentic doubts about our worth. But the other thing that I want us to remind us as we get older is we don't give a crap anymore. We know who we are. We're becoming more unapologetic with no more people pleaser. Right? Like this is who I am and this is who I'm not. So there's both challenges and gifts to dating when you're older. So let's focus on the positive more than focusing on the negative. And the positive is, I hope, you know who you are. You know what your deal breakers are. And then you were alluding earlier about, is it so much about the physical? Well, we certainly need to have our engines revving and be attracted to someone. But I encourage people to lower their preferences and increase their deal breakers. Preferences being how much money do they make, or do they have a six-pack abs, or do they have a private jet, or like these things that we think we want in order to be happy. And instead so lower the preferences. Maybe they're not going to be as tall as you want. Maybe they're not even going to be the race that you want. I've dated several different races, and it's really about the heart. It's really about the soul. It's really about, have they grown from their past relationships that failed, and are they better now because of it, or are they bitter? You don't want to date someone that's still blaming people. You want someone who's leaned in, opened their heart, done the work, and they can literally say, thank you for that divorce. Thank you for that bankruptcy. Thank you for that cancer. Thank you for whatever it was. I'm now better because of it. And so that's when we go for the deal breakers. I'd like you to consider things like, do they keep their heart open even when they're scared? Or do they close their heart and hit under the belt? And are they cruel? Can they be kind even when they're scared? Can they be authentic and tell the truth? Have they done their inner work from past relationships? Do they continue to do personal growth work? Because last time I checked, none of us get there. None of us are perfect, right? So do you have someone that's willing to grow in terms of sexuality, communication? These days, it's a very divisive world out there. Yes. Are they going to be divisive with you? Or are they going to say, hey, what are the commonalities rather than the differences? So those are the deal breakers that are more from the inside out rather than the outside in, that I think are going to steer you in the right direction when you're dating over 40, let's say.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you broke it down so eloquently, because I have had individuals, males and females, come to me and say, well, I have to have someone who's over 6 feet if a female is talking to me. Or if it's a male, well, I don't want anyone who's overweight, not obese, but, just they have to have curves or whatever. And, for me, when I'm out there looking, it seems like there are more individuals over 40, over 50, who may not have a six-pack, like you said, or they may not be over 6 feet tall, or they may not have a Coca-Cola shape, as we used to say back in the olden days. They may have a little extra weight, but what about their mind? What about their spirit? Yes. What about their values? What about those things that you can connect with, and you're not even giving them a chance because they can't get beyond your high expectations for the physical? So, that's very important that you said that.
Thank you. Yes. We also want to look at who we are. If we're saying we want someone who's in perfect shape, are we? And if we're saying we want someone with all this money, are we wealthy? Let's be sure that we're actually becoming our best self as well. And then let's go underneath that surface accomplishments and achievements. And let's go to what really matters at the end of the day. Are they a good listener? Do they listen without interrupting? Do they actually believe in you and care about you? Are they kind? Do they hide and blame, or are they brave and do they open up? Do they really see your mission, vision, purpose, from the inside of you, or are they more about the outside package? So if we're deep, we'll attract somebody deep.
Oh, I love that. If you're deep, then you will attract somebody deep. Yes. With that was so powerful. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back with more with Miss Allana Pratt. Welcome back. We are still here with this global phenomenon, Ms. Allana Pratt. Okay, so we talked in the previous segment about mature dating. Let's get into a discussion a little bit about feminine energy and masculine energy. Now, very few people even know what the heck that is. So please explain that and how critical it is if you want to have a successful relationship.
Such a great question. I never knew that inside of me I had both feminine and masculine energy because I'm a woman. And I assumed men just had masculine because they're a guy. However, we all have both of these energies inside of us. So the feminine is more welcoming, inviting, receptive, allowing. Not weak, because think about it, to be allowing and keep your heart open when you're scared, that takes courage and bravery. To be receptive of being loved for all of you, really, even my wobbly parts, even my muffin top, right? Like to be receptive and receive money, our glory, miracles, that takes a lot of bravery. And so to open in the face of the unknown, to open once you've been hurt in the past, to open when you're afraid of rejection, all of that is very courageous. That's our feminine energy, whether we're a woman or a man. Certainly as more feminine energy as a woman, she might be more delicious, coy, inviting, alluring. It can be very sensual and playful as well. But that would be like in general, feminine energy. For masculine energy, both women and men have it, and it's more directional. It's a choice. You take an action, you lead, you guide, you make it happen. You get out there and you call somebody. So our masculine energy would be the action we take to reach out, whether we're a man or a woman, and ask somebody for a date. It's the ability to say, hey, I'm having some issues around my money. I'm going to get a financial advisor. I'm having some issues around my relationships. I'm going to take action and get a coach. I'm having some issues around my physical body. I'm going to go to the gym. Those are our masculine actions. Now, both men and women have those energies. And when a man isn't willing to lead and he says, well, that was a nice conversation, bye. And he doesn't say, hey, I'd like to see you in person. I'd like to take you on a date. How is Thursday at 9? If he doesn't lead with that masculine energy, she's like, oh, I guess he doesn't like me, but he might just think she's amazing. So it's just that extra bit of masculine energy to claim the next experience, to lead with where you want to take the relationship. Of course, this goes all the way into the bedroom as well. Both partners can have masculine and feminine energy. Not one has to initiate all the time. Not one has to receive all the time. So there's a lot of different ways that this energy shows up in relationships. I want to say a little bit about the shadow aspects of a lot of my clients. A lot of times as women, if we've been hurt, taken advantage of, cheated on, etc., we're validated to be hurt, scared. And we often close our heart because our energy as the feminine is in our body, not our mind, right? So we close our heart, we pop up into our head, we try to do it right, look good, be in control, be 3 steps ahead so we never get hurt again. But it often makes us very crunchy, curt in our communication. And when we're scared, we don't drop into our heart and be brave and vulnerable. We stay up in our head and we can often emasculate unknowingly. And we're not safe to be around. Shadows in general for men might be the very same reason. I've been rejected. I don't want to be rejected again. It's just easier if I just shut up and just do what she says. But they become emasculated in their masculine energy and they get walked all over and wondering why doesn't she appreciate me? Why doesn't she praise me? Because he's not fully in his glory and in his masculine grandeur. He's softened a little more into his feminine and she's taken over in the masculine. So these energies, and that's just like a generalization, but in general, we want to do our own inner work and literally get a little journal out, write a line down the center of the page, put your masculine on one side, your feminine on the other, or a king and a queen, Shiva, Shakti, yin, yang, whatever works for you, and have an inner dialogue between your own inner masculine and feminine. My feminine, when I'm not in a good place, she'll say, you haven't slowed down to listen to me. You haven't honored my feelings. That's what the inner feminine might say. So as a practice, we as a man or a woman want to have like a morning prayer, a morning ritual where we slow down and we listen to our feminine energy. What have I not slowed down to hear you say? Intuition, instincts, feelings. Honor that part of us. We need to slow down, be brave, and listen. At the end of my day, I like to praise my masculine. Hey, you showed up here. You tried this. You fell down 7 times, but you got up 8. Good for you. Like, I like to praise that part of me that has drive. And if I don't, at the end of the day, I say, well, that didn't work and you failed there. That's how I, as a feminine creature, am talking to my own inner masculine. And he did his best. The masculine in me was brave. And if I don't praise me, guess what I'm going to do in a relationship one day? I'm not going to praise him. So as we practice with ourselves, we become a more whole person, a more harmonious masculine, feminine person. And then we can be that with our beloved of 20 years, or just if it's our very first date.
I love it. Let me ask you another question, because I hear this so much. So I want you to clear this up for everyone. I hear people say relationships are 50-50. And then I hear people say relationships are 100-100. Mm-hmm. Could you please clear that up?
Oh, I believe they are definitely 100-100. I've had 2 divorces, so I'm not a marriage coach. I'm an intimacy expert because I have failed numerous times on the marriage scene. And it was because I believed in the lie of 50-50. You complete me, Jerry Maguire. But here's what happens. When you do that, you make the other person the source of your happiness, the source of your worth, the source of your appreciation. It's too much pressure to put on an individual. It makes us control them or be fakey fake and say yes when we mean no, or be people pleasers or settle out of fear. So the job is to become whole in ourselves, not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but whole. Like, I own that my happiness is my job. I appreciate my wobbly self as much as my triumphant self. I choose to unconditionally love all of me like God does. That's my job. And so that when we have 2 whole people that come together, they don't complete each other, they complement each other. And that would be 1 and 1 doesn't equal 2. 1 and 1 equals like infinity. You can wake up these dormant qualities within one another and bring out the best in one another.
And that is what it's all about. That's what we all want. And I hear so many people say, well, if I find it, that's fine. If I don't, I don't care. Well, that is just absolutely. You might as well just say, I'm not together on the inside when you say you don't care, and you really do care.
Yeah.
So, we have to take another quick break. I really hate to do this because the conversation is so good. And we're going to be right back on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. We are still here having a magnificent conversation, and I'm going to just keep right on going because we're getting a lot of valuable information today. So, Allana, I know I said prior to the break that a lot of people will fool themselves. And I've heard people say this, well, yeah, I'd like to meet someone, but if I don't, I don't care. Well, I think they do care. Well, why do they say that when they know they do care?
Well, it's that little you. The little you inside is maybe afraid to open their heart again, is doubtful that there's anyone out there that will love them, warts and all. And we have these survival strategies, these deflection strategies that say, I don't care, when really deep down we do. So I would say to these people, it's time to create an intimate relationship with your true self. Inside of your heart, I believe there's little yous. One's about 5, maybe another's about 15. One could be 55. There's all these different ones inside who miss big you. And they've been, we could call it alone in a closet, maybe even hit by a 2x4. Whenever they come up and they're scared, you're like, shut up. And you shove them in the closet. Or they say, men are this or women are that, and you ignore them, you avoid them. It's how do we treat ourselves? So the key is have an intimate relationship with yourself, which means brave, vulnerable, transparent, honest. Go towards those uncomfortable parts of yourself that say, I don't care. Put your arm around them, give them a popsicle or a shot of tequila, whatever they prefer, and say, hey, let's become friends again. I'm sorry I criticized you in the past. Self-criticism. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I avoided you in the past. You were crying for my attention and I just had another glass of wine and went on Facebook. I'm sorry. So we get to know these inner parts. We validate, acknowledge, no fixing, no changing. Just listen. Listen the way you want to be listened to by another All of us at the end of the day want to feel safe, seen, and understood. Our ego thinks we want to be right and in control, but our heart just wants to be seen and loved for exactly who we are and exactly who we're not. So we can't manifest that on the outside if we haven't first cultivated that on the inside. So take the time this holiday season to get to know all of your wobbly parts, invite them all over for dinner, and make friends, make peace, become one. Have that communion that you desire to have with your beloved. Have that with yourself. Have it with God, the divine. Find that oneness on the inside. I like to say to my clients, instead of looking to find the one so I'm finally happy, look at the one you're looking for is the one you're looking at in the mirror. So become the one to find the one. And those inner skills you can then use in a healthy relationship, in communication, in creating your life by design, like the name of your show, creating the beautiful sensuality and intimacy that makes us feel so nourished, all of that. Get to know yourself on the inside first, then you can create that with more ease on the outside. And bottom line, even though this might be a little geeky and dorky, I'm really into science. And ultimately, we are all energy. We are all light. We are a vibration. And when you love yourself, all of yourself, even the wobbly parts, that is a vibration that you will attract someone that also loves you with compassion, with forgiveness, with allowance, because you give that gift to you, you give that gift to them, and they'll be able to give it right back. As we appreciate ourselves, we attract someone that appreciates us too.
I love all of that, because the ones who say this isn't good enough, that isn't good enough, well, he doesn't have that, she doesn't have this, and I don't care. You are the ones who are really hurting and need to connect, just like Allana said. Please connect with that inner you so that you can remove all that doubt and unnecessary trauma that you may still be reliving over and over and over, because there may be some trauma in there that whatever you don't deal with, it will deal with you.
That's well said. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why everything you said makes such good sense, because, and I always try to give advice that, you know, a lot of people don't take the time to fall in love with themselves or love themselves at all. I mean, I went through that. I mean, I think everyone goes through that. If you know, your childhood issues and past relationship traumas, and, you know, everybody has something.
Yes.
If you've lived on this earth any amount of time, you have something. So if you could just deal with that, I just love everything you said, Allana, because you're so knowledgeable, and I see why you're so well traveled, because you have so much good information to offer everyone. And I know you're doing a lot of things, and I know you're involved, and you've already written 6 books. So do you have another new book? Why don't you give us the name of your book so we can.
The last one is From Heartbreak to Heartmate, Discovering Love During Lockdown. Oh. And I really believe that the pandemic was a gift to slow us down, to face and feel that which we've all become so busy that we just get on Facebook and don't fall in love with ourselves and keep looking on the outside in to prove we're good enough. So there's a real gift this time to slow down, face, feel, and fall in love with yourself, become the one, as I say. And I love that my community, I have group coaching or private coaching, and we all get together every week, and we're real and we're brave and we do the work and we integrate our anger and we fall in love with ourselves and we see our sexuality as sacred and we learn to be brave in our communication. So these are some of the skills that I teach in the book and in my different programs, my YouTube channel. I have a podcast, Intimate Conversations. This is what we talk about all the time, about being just as vulnerable as we are credible. That really, to feel safe with yourself, you've got to be willing to love the wobbly parts as much as you celebrate where you're triumphant. And that makes you safe with others. Because when people see you, not shine them on fakey fake, but be real, but no excuses, no blame, total ownership, it's actually very inspiring and will attract a quality partner who also does the same. So there's a lot of resources on my site. There's an intimacy blind spot quiz, because I can't see my blind spots either. I have 3 coaches and I'm very good at what I do, but I can't see what I can't see. And instead of blaming others or, heaven forbid, blaming yourself, take this quiz so you can go, oh, that's really what's going on. Because look, if we could have figured it out ourselves, we would have changed it. But if the pattern continues, consider that there's nothing wrong with you. You're not silly or stupid or broken or weak. It's just a blind spot. We all have them. And be willing to be brave and do the work so that you can take your power back and shift your relationship patterns and really have deep, soul-shaking, lasting love. That's one free resource on my site.
Now, what are your social media handles, your name?
Oh, it's my name, Allana Pratt, with two L's, ALLANAPRATT.com on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, like everywhere. It's just me, Allana Pratt. And lots of resources on my site, allanapratt.com, tons of interviews like this one. So you can just, you can binge on inspiration and open your heart and live unapologetically this holiday season and really celebrate the gift that you are. Remember that you make a difference and you're a gift just as you are.
I love that. That is the best way to bring it into a magnificently incredible show. And Allana Banana, I may have to bring you back for part 2 because there is just so much power in this. And I know I'm going to get a ton of emails. So I'm going to say thank you so much for being a guest on the show today. And I also thank you, my viewing audience, my loyal listeners, my loyal viewers, for being here today also. We're going to say goodnight to everyone, and we'll see you the same time next week for another empowering episode. Good night, everyone.